So we have done R7 and R9, so now we can turn our attention to R8, which is about defining an operation to create new bank accounts. So again, when we open a bank account, what happens is that we will create an account object. And so here on the BD set, so on the operations of the set account, I will define an operation to create account objects, which is called a constructor. And I need to identify this as a constructor using the new, it's a new operation. Now if I double click it, I can define it. Like I did for the customer new, I will need to define some inputs to fill in the newly created object. And so in that information comes from the structural diagram. If I come here, I will see that I will need an account type, because to know which account type I should create. And then there is a balance, which when I open a new account will just be 0, and the account number, which is internally assigned. So the system will internally assign an account number. So really, this means that all I need is one input for the account type. So I will have ATY question mark of ACC type to represent the input corresponding to the account type. And since this is a new object, I will need to identify the newly created object, which will be A exclamation mark of type account. So when the state changes are done in the context of this newly created object. So I will say in the post condition, so here I've got two sets of operations that I can do on the predicate compartments. The second set corresponds to the post condition. So in the post condition I'll have an arrows formula to say that the account number will be any account number belonging to the set of account numbers. ACC no or ACC no, yeah. So it must belong to this set. And I will say that the balance of the newly created account will be 0. Initially, the balance of the newly created accounts is 0. And finally, I will have to say the type of the account, and the type of the account, which is the attribute or property ATY, will be ATY question mark. And so we have created local contract of the operation new for the account, and this creates new accounts. And now again we need to define the global operation, which is the operation available to the outside world. And this operation is called OpenAccount. So I will double click it to start creating it. And I will define the input for the account type. So I will have ATY question mark of ACC type. And so what happens is that also if we try to make sense of this operation by looking at the structural diagram, so I will open an account, but when I open an account here, I will need to open it for a specific customer, and I need to assign this newly created account to that customer. So what this means is that I will need for this operation another input, which is the customer number for whom the account will be created. So I'll have a C no question mark, which is a customer number. Right, and as I have seen, also I will involve this local contract new on account, which I have just defined. So I will reference it. I will have here an account new, which will create my account object. So I create this account object using this account new, which is what the OpenAccount needs to do anyway. But now I somehow need to associate this newly created account, which comes with an A exclamation mark, with my customer. And here what I need is another grab, to grab a customer given a customer number. So I will define an observe operation for that. So I will define an assertion here called grab account given ACC number. Or better is grab customer, actually. Grab customer is grab customer given customer number. And I have already defined the grab for the account, so what I will do is I will do a Control-C, Control-V to cut and paste. So, and then I will rename this operation. I will call it grab customer given customer number. And I will say OK. So the import will be false. Okay, if I double click it, now I will have to customize this to the customer, because previously it was for the account. So I will have here a CNO, which is of type customer number, and I will have a C, which is of type customer. And now my C will belong to the set of customers whose number is the number that I receive as an input. And so this says that C belongs to the set of customers whose number I have given as an input. And since I have said that in my model these numbers must be unique, then this C belongs to at most a singleton set. So the set is empty in case there is no customer for that customer number, and this constraint is false, or it is a singleton, and then the C will become that element, that only element of that set. And so this basically grabs in C the element that I need, in C exclamation mark. Okay, so I've got the grab to grab the C, the customer object. I've got the account object, which is the newly created object by the operation account new. Now I need to associate the two. And so I am going to create another operation, which is which I will call olds add new. And this what this will do is, what this olds add new intends to do is simply, if we go back to the structural diagram, is to create a pair of the association holds. So we've got a customer, we've got an account, and now we need to associate the two. This means we need to create a pair relating the customer and the account. So this is what the holds add new will do. So the imports here will be false. And so the olds add new will basically receive two inputs, which is an A question mark of type account, and we've got also a C question mark of type customer. And now in the post condition, I will say what happens to the association holds. Okay, and so I will create what is an arrows formula departing from the set holds, which will become a set definition, which is made up of the set holds, well, the previous set holds with, so I'm going to define here a union, a set union, union, holds, union. So this new set will be holds, union with another set, and this other set will be just a new pair, a set with just one pair, made up of the customer and the account. So I'm just saying that the new olds will be the old olds union with a set made up of a new pair, singleton set with the customer objects and the newly created account. And if I go back to the open account, which is my global contract that coordinates everything, I just needed to fine-tune the inputs and outputs for the whole Z new. So I need to say that the hey becomes a exclamation mark, and that the C question mark becomes the C exclamation mark. And so the C comes from the grab, and the A comes from the account new. And yes, I have done my job. So I've created the open account operation.